What's up, guys? Welcome to another 2023 World Juniors coverage video. Where in this video, we're going to be giving our predictions on who we think will win gold, silver, and copper. No, I'm joking, bronze. Anyways, guys, so these are the two groups. We have Group A: Sweden, Germany, Czechia, Austria, and Canada. And then Group B, we have Switzerland, Latvia, United States, Finland, and Slovakia.
Yeah.
So, looking at this without an analysis on the rosters, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, I think this is going to be, a pretty, let's say, easy two groups to predict and kind of see what the path is going to be to the final. Group A, I think it's a really challenging group for a team, let's say like Canada, just because you've got Sweden, you've got Czechia. I think for the most part, though, they're probably their hardest opponent would be Sweden. I think they could beat Czechia, they can easily beat Germany, and they can easily beat Austria. I think their only real test is going to be Sweden. So I think I'm excited to see what they're going to do. To me, I think if I have to look at Group A early on here, I think Canada finishes top, Sweden second. I would put Czech Republic in third or Czechia in third, Germany, and then Austria battle it out for
I
fourth and
actually
fifth.
agree with that 100%.
And the reason for that is Austria, listen, they're probably the weakest team apart from Latvia in this tournament. I don't really think they're going to do much or give much of a fight to teams like Canada and Sweden. They may give a fight to a team like Germany and Czechia, but I just don't see them winning a game in this tournament. Germany, they're not as deep as they were in previous years. I don't think they've really got the roster to necessarily compete with the likes of Sweden, Canada, and Czechia, which is why I have them in fourth. I think Czechia is an interesting one just because they don't, like I said with Germany, they don't really have the same roster as in previous years, but they still got some guys. They've got Svozil, like I mentioned in the last video. Juracek's another one. They've got Suchanek, who last year against Canada really played well against them. I think Czechia can steal a few wins. They might be able to steal one against Sweden and Canada as well. So that's why I have them in third. And then Sweden and Canada, they're kind of interchangeable. I think that just based on roster and just the fact that, Canada is so deep and so stacked, I think they might beat Sweden, but I would not be surprised if Sweden beats Canada as well because they've got a really good team. I think their D core is a little bit weak compared to, let's say, Canada's offensive core that's going to be coming at them. So that's why I have Canada slightly edging Sweden. But it's going to be a really interesting Group A, and I'm excited to see what that group brings as a whole. So yeah.
So let's go on with the Group B instant analysis.
So Group B. I mean, listen, we're going to start from the top. I think states easily walk through this group in first place. Now, I know I said in the last video that I was excited for Finland. I'm gonna make a bold prediction here and say Slovakia finishes second. I know they lost to Canada 6-0 in the pre-tournament game, but I don't think that speaks a lot about Slovakia. They've got some good talent. Dvorsky's there, Nemec is there, Mashar is there. I think they're going to be a team that's going to be an underdog in this tournament. If they would have had Slavkovsky, I think they would have been better. Unfortunately, they don't. But I think with Finland, it's a good team for Finland. I don't, I have nothing against the Finnish team as a whole. I'm not sure about that decor, and at the same time, I think defense. Our other colleague Chris used to say, defense wins championships. I don't think Finland has that defensive core like they had in previous years to necessarily compete at the highest level, which is why I have them in third. They might edge it out with Slovakia. That one's going to be close, but I think they finished third. Switzerland's another one to watch out for, but like with Germany, in Group A, they don't really have the same guys that they had in previous years. Apart from Lee and Bischel, I don't really see much of a progress for Switzerland, which is why I think they finished fourth. And Latvia might be the worst team in this tournament. And so I think they're going to finish dead last. I don't see them getting a win either. They're not going to compete with any of these teams. I don't think personally. So that's
So
kind of how I have it.
yeah, so let's take a look at how the bracket essentially works. So as you can see, there's some predictions here that Canada would finish first, Sweden second, so that's 1A, 2A, and so on and so forth. Same thing with the B
Yeah.
group. So, do you agree with this prediction on in terms of how do you see the um the bracket unfolding, essentially leading up to the
Okay.
finals.
Well, I think they made one of an they made an issue on the well, this website made an issue on the quarterfinals. But anyways, in terms of what it looks like, 1A versus 4B, Canada versus Switzerland, if that were to actually happen, which is funny because that's actually what I predicted. So I think Canada easily walks through Switzerland in the quarterfinals. I have Canada going through. Sweden would actually be playing Slovakia, not Latvia. Um, and in this situation, I'm high on Slovakia, man. I really am. But I'm gonna give Sweden the edge just because I think Sweden's got the team. They've got the roster for it. Sorry, actually, 3B was Finland, not Slovakia. My bad. So actually, this makes it an all Scandinavian matchup. I think Sweden beats Finland. I don't think Finland are as good as previous years. I think Sweden has a really good team. I think they're gonna dominate them. Then 1B versus 4A, which is going to be the USA versus while I had Germany at 4, I think USA is going to skate circles around the Germans. I don't see Germany beating them. And then 2B versus 3A, so 2B would be Slovakia versus 3A would be Czechia. I think Slovakia could beat Czechia. That's going to be a really good game, though. I think they're evenly matched, those teams. I think Slovakia's got the better talent, I guess, in terms of, let's say, players that I think can probably break out. But, it's going to be the battle of Simon Nemec versus David Juracek if that were to happen. So I'd be excited to see how those two would match up against each other. And I would
So
have Slovakia go through in that case.
so let's proceed to the semifinals.
So then Canada versus Switzerland. So Canada would play the winner of 1B versus 4A, which would be Canada versus USA in the semifinals, which would be absolutely crazy to think about just because, usually that's a final that you see, having Canada play the States in the final. Listen, we're from Canada. I'm going to support Canada all the way through. I think Canada beats the States, but what a game that would be for the semifinal to go into the gold medal game. So I think USA ends up in the bronze medal game. And then 2A versus 3B versus 2B versus 3A. So 2A would be Sweden taking on Slovakia. That's another really, really good game. I have Sweden going through, which would lead to a Canada Sweden final, in which Canada wins the gold medal, Sweden finishes second, and then in the bronze medal game. Now, I think USA is going to win this against Slovakia. I think USA gets bronze, but I think the reason I say that is not because I don't think Slovakia can compete. It's just because the States just are a really stacked team. But I'm obviously basing a lot of these things on facts as well, on bias a little bit, just because I am Canadian. I'm gonna support Canada at the World Juniors. It's pretty obvious. I'm gonna back that team, but I'm not disrespecting the States whatsoever. They have a really stacked team. I just don't know about their goaltending, and I think that's one question mark that both Sweden, USA, and Canada all have is they don't really have that elite goaltender that they've had in previous years. Sweden had Wallstedt a couple of years ago. Canada had Sebastian Kosa as well as what's Dylan Gara. So the goaltending is going to be a really interesting story in this tournament, and I think Canada ends up winning gold. But if Sweden wins gold as well, I wouldn't be too surprised about it either. So
Well,
that's
as you
kind of
guys
how I
can
see it.
tell, Luca's literally a specialist in terms of scouting, and every World Junior event, Luca always provides the facts. That's why, during this time of the year, this is basically Luca's show, if you could if you can tell. But
Yeah, well, I think like I don't want to disrespect Finland. I like Finland as a team. I said that I was excited to watch them play. I don't know where. That's why I don't have Finland. Usually I'd have Finland ahead of Slovakia, but the reason I don't have Finland ahead of Slovakia is just because I'm not confident in that team moving forward. And I know they have that 16-year-old Aaron Kiviharju, but I don't know if that's enough of a player to necessarily carry Finland to where they're supposed to be. I think they're weaker than Canada, Sweden, and Slovakia, and USA. So that's the reason why I have them where I have them. But if there's any Finnish fans that are going to watch this or anyone supporting Finland, don't disrespect. Don't take it as disrespect. You guys are an up and coming team. I just think that there's just better teams, better constructed teams at this World Juniors for the time being. So
yeah, and very quickly, we're just gonna give you a visual representation of the roster. So starting with Austria, um,
Vincent
one of the
Herrera.
one of the weaker teams, like we were alluding
Yeah.
to before. We covered the top prospects and eligible draftees for the 2023 draft to look out for in our previous video, but this is just a visual representation to see who you could look out for essentially. So as you could see, Austria, not really the flashiest team in terms of big names. Let's quickly scroll,
Yeah.
scroll. Then you have Canada, obviously, with a lot of flashy names. Um, like we were alluding to before, Olin Zellweger. You have Shane Wright. You have Brand Clark. Um, Shane. You also have Connor Bedard. You have Adam Fantilli. You also have um, oh, my bad. Oh, you have Brendan Ottman as well, Joshua Roy as well, which, it's nice to see him on the roster because he was excluded in the 2022 World Junior Championship roster, even though he was killing it in the Quebec minor league. So, um,
He made the World Junior team in 2022, by the way. He did.
not the first one that was
No, the
canceled.
first one, no, but the second one, yeah.
Yeah, the second one he did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So then looking at Czechia, you have these guys as well to look out for in terms of top names. You could see David Juracek
Tommy
there,
Kamara.
who's
Uh,
killing it right now in the AHL with Cleveland, the farm team of the Columbus Blue Jackets. This is a team to look out for as well. Then you have Finland that, like Luca was alluding to before, a team that's up and coming, but also a team that has some veteran experience from the previous tournament, like Joachim Kamel. You have Brad Lambert as well. So those guys are guys you could look out for as well. Going to Germany, not really anybody flashy on this roster.
apart from
Uh,
Julian Lutz.
yeah, except for Julian Lutz. So these are guys that, not really to look out for. Latvia, like Luca was alluding to, probably the worst team in terms of this tournament. No one really, that screams out potential like first round pick in this upcoming draft. So that's a team to kind of, I wouldn't say necessarily disregard because you never know what's
No,
possible.
exactly. They could always surprise people, but I
Yeah.
just think that on paper and just kind of where we're at, I don't see it, to be honest.
Then you have Slovakia, which is a team that is going to be very competitive in this league, like Luca was alluding to before in terms of his bracket. This is a very good team. Just taking a quick look, there's
Yeah,
Philip
Mitch.
Nassar, who had a fantastic preseason and training camp with the Montreal Canadiens. He's a guy to
Yeah.
look out for.
Adam
Um,
Sikora, Dalibor Dvorsky as well,
yeah,
and Simon
Dvorsky's
Nemec.
eligible for the 2023 draft.
Yeah.
You have Sweden as well. Um, Even though Wallstedt is not there, still a very competitive team. Adam Engstrom, that was drafted in the 2022 draft by Montreal. Philip Bysted, San Jose prospect. Leo Carlson was supposed to be a top three prospect heading
Yeah.
into this draft.
Jonathan
Jonathan
Lekkerimäki.
Lacker-Mackey, who fell down in the first round to Vancouver. Those are guys to look out for as well. Then Switzerland, again, nothing too flashy, but you have Leon Bechel of the Dallas Stars that you guys could look out for as well. So, obviously you see a trend in terms of like what teams are going to be competitive and which teams are not. So we're just giving you an inside look of, what's your analysis looking at these rosters? Who do you believe is going to be a
Yeah.
top three team heading into this tournament, and that's going to go on a run essentially for either the gold, silver, or the bronze. But you have the United States here, another great team as well. Lane Hudson that fell in the second round to Montreal in the previous draft. Ryan Chesley who fell in the second round to Washington. Great team as well. Logan Cooley, the Arizona Coyotes drafted last year. Let's Jimmy Snugrid. That's like
Oh
another
wow,
guy.
The Habs have five prospects, six prospects. I
And
didn't
these are
know.
the
It's
teams.
crazy.
These are the teams that are being represented the most in terms of prospects. So Montreal, you have six. Arizona, you have five. Chicago, you have five. Minnesota, you have five. New Jersey, you have five. New York Rangers, you have five. Carolina, four. Florida, four. Ottawa, four. Vegas, four. Vegas, four.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
sorry,
were right.
Winnipeg Jets, four.
You were right. Anaheim had three. I didn't realize. I forgot about Tyson Hinge.
Yeah,
I made a
I
mistake.
I, I knew it. I was confident when I said that in the previous episode. But yeah, these are essentially, you know, prospects to look out for that have been drafted. Obviously, Colorado, Detroit, and Edmonton are the bottom feeders in terms of representation at this draft. But guys, we'll like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Which team are you rooting for? Which team is the best according to the rosters before the tournament starts? And we'd like to hear your predictions down below in the comment section below. Who will be the MVP of this tournament? And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and enjoy the holidays. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, whatever you guys celebrate. Enjoy this time off with your family. It's very important. We just like to thank everybody for a great 2022. Thank you for helping us reach 1K. We are not stopping anytime soon. We are going for 2K. So, guys, enjoy this World Junior tournament, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Young Guns podcast.